Hello everyone, this is Al from PC Tech Review 101 coming back with another video. It's about time I make a video about one of my older gaming rigs. Let's see how it performs in 2018 in some of the modern games. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. This monster features Asus P9X79WS motherboard. One of the best ever made, in my opinion. Paired with E5-1650 Xeon processor, 6-core 12-thread, stock clocked at 3.2, and currently clocked at 4.3 gigahertz. So I just want to take a little time here and go over a little bit about this build. It took me a couple of years to get everything together finally. When this hardware was originally, came out, a build like this would cost you a couple of $1,000s easily. And surprisingly, today, if you're out, to find these parts one by one and build this rig, looking around, and these are very rare parts, they did retain their value, and this thing would still cost you way over $1,000 to build. Especially this motherboard. Now I want to talk to you about this motherboard. It's like I said, it's one of the best motherboards ever made, in my opinion. Overclocking this Xeon processor was a breeze. I easily clocked it at 4.3 gigs, and I did not do any other settings. I didn't increase the voltage or not, and this thing has been performing amazing with no issues at all. This system does include 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM at 1600 megahertz, and I did not overclock the RAM because it gets a little tricky with these systems, so I kind of left it alone. For cooling, I used Corsair H60 for the CPU cooler, which is just right. The temperatures are good. Also, for the power supply, I have a Corsair TX 950 watt power supply, which is more than enough to handle a system like that with any issues. And also for the graphics card, this is one of the reasons that I wanted to get this motherboard, is because the SLI support is incredible on this thing. I have two MSI GTX 780s, which are still respectable cards and perform very well in SLI performance. Of course, we're going to be testing the games later on, and I'm going to be only testing the games that support SLI because I want to show the maximum performance, and I feel that it doesn't make no sense to test this rig with a game that does not support SLI, because it's just not what I want to show here. I want to show you what this thing could do in 2018. Also, I used this full-size case, which is a ThermalTake MK1 chaser. Also one of my favorite cases. It's very big and roomy. It looks great. It has nice LED fans in it. They're 200 millimeters. It has a total of 3 200 millimeter LED fans, which could be changed in color. And also, I just have a regular DVD drive in there and an extra fan. For the hard drives, I used 128 gigabyte SSD drive, which is a EVO 840 for the main boot drive, and an additional 500 gigabyte SATA drive for extra storage. This thing has plenty of slots, as you could see. Very easy to just pop in additional storage. It's very roomy. This case it's pretty big, but it's not too heavy, and very ideal for this build. So as you could see, let me zoom in here a little bit. You could see that I have plenty of space in between the two graphic cards, which was, again, this is a perfect motherboard. This thing comes, I think, with like 6 or 7 PCI Express slots, and we have it set up the best possible way, which is recommended in the motherboard guide for the best performance of SLI, which is be the top slot and the 5th one down, which will give you the maximum performance. Believe it or not, with these older motherboards, the SLI here is running at X16 bus Even the newest technology, the newer motherboards and stuff like that, only the really expensive ones, when you start going to $400 or $500 motherboards, start supporting the SLI at 16 bus lane. So that way we don't lose any performance, and therefore we're able to squeeze out the maximum performance on this SLI setup. Take a look a little bit more here. I like this case because it has the legs. So let's see how this beast does on some of the games today. We're going to be doing settings on 1080p, and we'll do some 4K too. And without further ado, let's get into some games. Just wanted to show you this really quick before we get into some of the gaming benchmarks, and I'm going to run a couple of games for you guys at 1080p and 4K. As you could see, the two graphic cards are here. They are maximized for 3D performance in SLI mode. And if you go here for system information, you could see it here. There are 384-bit graphics cards, which is really good, and 3 gigs each. And this is the part I was trying to mention to you guys before. As you could see, I'm just going to do one card at a time here. We're in SLI mode, and each card is being utilized at the 16 bus lane, which is the maximum you could get even on a single card. So with these high-end motherboards, even an older one like this, an X79 motherboard, you're utilizing everything out of this graphics card. And look here, same thing here. I've seen other SLI modes, which I have other computers with SLI mode, and they're newer i7s, 6th, 7th generation, with a good SLI motherboard, and they're only running SLI when the two cards are together in X8 mode when it comes to the SLI mode and the bus lane. So, you know, that's why we're able to get all those crazy performances that you're gonna see shortly after this. And I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know, guys, what you guys think. Also, let me know what older systems you have that you still kept around, because, you know, some of these older rigs are still relevant to today's games. So without further ado, let's get into some games. Okay, and here's Battlefield 1. We'll be starting at 1080p ultra settings, everything on ultra, and the last two bottoms maxed out. Let's see what this thing could do. Yeah, as you could see, it performs really well over 100 FPS on ultra settings. And you guys could check it out later on at some other YouTube videos out there, what this game runs on ultra settings on the newer graphics cards, like a 1070 or a 1080 on ultra settings on 1080p, and you'll see that this is probably somewhere in between a 1070 and 1080. It's not a bad setup, as long as you have the good motherboard like this. And that's where, you know, people, some people out there, they keep their hardware for many years. Like, if somebody has a setup like this, there's really no need to upgrade. If you're playing SLI compatible games and you have this hardware here, this is more than enough frame rates here for you guys. Let's do, now I'm just gonna jump right into the lowest settings. To get that closer to 200 FPS. If you guys have that 144 hertz monitor, this will be a perfect setup for that too. So as you can see, the GTX 780 performs quite well in SLI mode. Really no issues at all. And we're gonna be going to 4K next. Okay, let's jump into 4K. Let's see what happens here. We're gonna start out on the lowest settings and kind of work our way up. I'd really like to do all the settings in this one part. We'll see if I'll last long enough. Okay, so now we're at the lowest settings on 4K. Definitely performing well here at about 100 FPS or so. Not bad at all. Now we're gonna move up a little. See, the only issue is with the SLI mode here, with these older cards, is when you get to a higher settings in 4K, like high and ultra, the frame rates technically will be okay number-wise, but the game will start stuttering and it'll be unplayable, in my opinion. So, low and medium 4K is really good on this. Definitely gonna get above 60 on both the settings. Okay, so let's see. Let's do the ideal setting will be medium. I'm gonna do medium setting. Do this low, and let's do medium to see if we can still get the 60 FPS around that frame rate. Yes, we do. Not bad. This is definitely one of the scenes more action here, and you know, that's pretty much what you could do. You could go higher, but I noticed a stutter. Maybe it was me, but last time I went higher, and you could see that there's plenty of room to push it harder, and it just started to stutter. I don't know what happened, but that's just what happened. So medium settings and 4K is perfect for the system. There's no shame in SLI. Don't let people tell you, oh, SLI, there's issues. Yeah, there's issues that certain games are not compatible, but the ones that are, I mean, it's good, and there's a lot of games that are compatible. And if they are not compatible, you're just gonna end up using one card, and the other one will just stay. You know, you'll stay at the ambient temperature, and it just won't even, you know, it won't be utilized. That's the only difference. Otherwise, there won't be no issues. So let's try to push this to a high settings and see if it's still playable on 4K. Okay, now yeah, we see a big drop here. Now everything is stuttering. Okay, so I'm not even gonna try ultra. Yep, you saw that, guys. You saw that stutter just like I tested it earlier. That was the issue. So we're pretty much capped here on medium settings. We could probably go highest on this. Let's try that. So I guess maybe the VRAM, because each card is only 3 and they don't really stack to 6 gigs, maybe that's the reason that, you know, at high 4K settings is just maxed out. But on medium, maxed out medium settings, I mean, you're definitely playing above 60 FPS. I mean, what else do you want for this setup? Okay guys, and that's Battlefield 1 for you. And here's Witcher 3. We're gonna start off on 1080p ultra settings. Oh yes, this game looks great. It looks beautiful. No issues. Still one of the more harder games to run on ultra.
War's not exactly going our way. We have assigned the northern realms.
Lazy horse, come here. Oh yeah, this area has got a lot of like dead bodies, so we'll see how it runs here. It looks amazing, but you'll see the frame rates go a little bit less. Even though the dead bodies aren't, you know, there, it still counts as a crowd of people. So you do get the true form here. That looks great. Okay, now just see what this thing runs on the lowest settings of the 1080p. I'm gonna go ahead and turn everything off. Again, this is ideal settings if you want to run at 144 Hz monitor. And you get crazy frame rates like this. Pretty damn nice. Come on, Roach. No, we're not going there. It's this way. Of course, even on the lowest settings, the game looks great. Okay, let's try now 4K settings. And let's see, it is going to be right there. I'm going to start off on the lowest. Yeah, still playable, no stuttering. I think, again, just like with the other game, medium settings will be maximized. Maximum you can run this game to be playable. And we're gonna do that right here with a fight scene. So I'll do this medium presets. Medium on that, everything's medium, then we'll go to post-processing. Okay, let's do this like that, like this, and like that. Let's do it like this. And why not? We'll do like okay, so we're on medium 4K. You could play around and take out some anti-aliasing to get it up to 50, but I just want to see how it looks here with the fighting scene with the guys. Still not bad at 4K. Graphics look great. Oh, look at that alien head. Yeah, let's just play around with this. I'll take this off and keep this on medium. And I think that'll be ideal. Yeah, that got away. There was a little bit of sluggishness I felt in the game, so this is really the best setting you could do, which is not bad. Nice slice. Okay guys, and that's Witcher 3. Okay guys, and here is Grand Theft Auto 5. We are now at maxed out settings on 1080p. This game looks amazing.
Like that? Bobby big dick on a nigga, huh? Shit, For real, homie? Damn, this motherfucker. Right up here, homie. I'm about to go nice and slow with your bitch ass. Okay. Hey, look out for yourself, dog.
As you can see, it's running pretty good, well above 60 FPS. Let me just show you the settings we're running on. Okay, well, we have not go over the 6 gig VRAM here, and this is probably one of the only games that allows you to stack the VRAM, the 2 graphics card, to give you this full 6 gigs here. Let's just review the settings here. 1080p, that's on. This is X4. You could go up to X8 times 8, but this option would not be available. It's only available on times 2 and times 4 now, and this is a really nice, it gives you a better look. So that's the only item that you can still play around with, but that's definitely a better setting. Everything else is maxed out. And soft shadows, NVIDIA, again, that's the highest settings. Ultra, I just don't have the in-depth field effects and motion blur strength. Let's see if that'll make me restart. No, it didn't. So okay, we'll keep that on. Motion blur is unnecessary. It does not give any better look to the game. So we're right here. As you can see, we're fully maxed out. Okay, yeah, that's still playable. And it's a beautiful game. Looks beautiful. And then we're gonna try to do 4K. Yeah, as you guys see, there's no problem running this game with these 2 cards. I mean, even the 10 series cards like a 1070 or 1080, you know, will have hard time running it on ultra on 1080p on full settings. You guys could check that out yourself. But these frames are pretty insane. This setup is running better and better each time I play this game. Okay, so now we're gonna just jump to 4K for our last setting. I am gonna turn some things off because I know it just won't. It'll be a hard time running at 4K with that. So we're turning this off here, and I'll turn this off completely too. Okay. Let's see, and then we'll go ahead and go to 4K. Yes, this is it. Let's see if it takes it. It'll take a little while. No. There it is. Wow, I'm sure you guys could see it even with the camera recorded here, how amazing this thing looks. Well, this is Grand Theft Auto 5. Enjoy the remaining video of this game before my battery dies out. But yeah, this thing is running real smooth. With a couple of things that turned off. I mean, you got to be realistic here. But you do see a difference immediately, even on a 1080p monitor. When this is turned to 4K resolution, the graphics is incredible. And yes, for those who didn't know, you could play 2K and 4K resolution on a 1080p monitor You know, preferably a better 1080p monitor will have an easier time doing it. Oh, okay, guys, and that's Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay, and there's his Rise of the Tomb Raider. We're set right now on the very high settings, as you can see. The only things are the two blurs are off. Everything else is on. And let's see how this thing does. Well, it's not bad.
This wind is crazy.
We just need to keep moving.
Okay, the game looks fantastic.
Hey, even if we don't find anything up here, your dad would be proud.
And you can see we could definitely play at 60 frames. Of course, some areas it's going to be, you know, less, but in a lot of the areas it will be above, especially during crazy moments like this.
Lost my footing. I'm fine.
But no stuttering, everything looks good, very smooth.
That was close.
Laura, are you alright?
Jonah! I'm here!
I'll climb down there and get you.
No! It's too dangerous!
Of course, the new Tomb Raider, unfortunately I just don't have it yet, but
Just stay put!
pretty much requires the same kind of power, so I think even for the new game, which I'll eventually we'll do tests too, should be no problem. So let's just give it a try first at 2K settings here. We're gonna leave the preset the same at very high. Let's see if we can handle it. But once we go to 4K, I'm sure I'm gonna have to turn a couple of things down in order to get it playable. But wow, yeah, 2K looks good too. I mean, with this with this system, I mean, you got really a lot of options. I mean, it's really unbelievable. Everything is running pretty good, and I've been testing this for quite a bit, for hours, I could say here, back and forth, making sure things are playable. I will try the 4K setting at very high, but I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest. I'm curious.
Shit, Laura. You're gonna give me
Let's see after this part. Let me go into this cave. See what happens here.
Looks like we gotta go through.
Push this thing to the limits. Looks beautiful. Some people are complaining about the new Tomb Raider because of pretty much it's gonna stay in the same area in the jungle area, versus this one is more adventurous. You get to go to more areas, more backgrounds, you know. So who knows? I still think the new game is good, of course. Wow. So as you see, at 2K on very high settings, it plays fantastic. Okay, now let's give it a try. I don't know if I'm gonna get stuck here, but I'm gonna give it a try. If this is still playable, hey, if I get 30 FPS, I'm happy to make it playable. And let's give it a little second. Let it get together. Wow, there you have it, guys. It is playable, and I'm telling you it is. You could see it yourself. We're on very high preset. Just the two motion blurs are off because, like I said, it makes no difference as far as look-wise.
What do you think?
But it does slow down your performance a little bit.
I can feel it. Just
Feels pretty solid.
Okay, guys, well, let's enjoy the rest of this video here at 4K resolution. And if you guys like this video, if this was helpful, guys, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget about the little guys, like me and other people. Oh no, I died. You know, we don't get paid for this. All the equipment that I have is, you know, it's throughout the years of savings. I try to do my best job explaining to you guys as best as I can. I always record with my camera. That way you guys get the best frame rates possible, because you know, with the recording devices, as you know, within the game you do lose FPS, and I really want to get that true feel. You know, I see how much we're pushing these games at 4K. I mean, it's pretty good. I'm very impressed. Yeah, check out my channel, guys. There's you know, there's plenty of videos to look. I mean, hopefully some of them will be helpful for you guys. You know, every subscriber to me counts, and I really appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel. If you have any questions, any suggestions about this video, or you have some of your own SLI older setups, let me know what you have and what kind of frame rates you're running and what kind of resolution.
Holy shit! I don't think I can make that jump.
Stay there. I'll aim for a line for you at the top.
All right, I'll give you some slack. Almost there, Laura. You got it.
Jonah, we made it. I see the ruins. Quick! Swing me to the other side!
Okay, here goes. Come on, Laura. Laura, I can't hold you. The rope is slipping. Oh, shit. Oh, God damn it.
Go back, Jonah! Get the shelter!
Oh, finally we get above. Oh yeah, you see that stutter? Yeah, that's gonna little stutter there, guys. What are you gonna do? Finally we get above 8 gigs of RAM running at once. Alright guys, that's Tomb Raider. Oh yeah guys, I wanted to show you what this thing runs like on the lowest presets. Everything turned off on 1080p. Everything low. Display 1080p. Yeah, you get these crazy frame rates. Yeah, it's almost like you playing CS:GO here or something. But yeah, this thing, this setup's got really good power. The GTX 780 in SLI mode is still relevant to today's graphic cards. And like I said, in some games it outperforms a GTX 1070 and on par with 1080, and in some cases it might even beat out the 1080 in certain settings. You guys do your own research and you'll find this to be true. I have all those cards, and with the newer processors, and I tested them, and I was, again, for me personally, I had this thing for a while and I was not impressed with the new 10 series. I mean, as far as single card wise, yeah, it's fantastic, but I guess I didn't get a chance to have any matching graphics additional cards so I could run in SLI mode, but I will be getting that sooner or later. And maybe then I'll be impressed, because you know, I want to run these games even higher than 200 FPS on the lowest settings, and run 4K at around 100 frames per second. So again, the newer generation cards just don't really too impress me. We'll see what the RTX brings in the next couple of days. It'll be out in the stores in just a few days. And hopefully I'll get my hands on one of those bad boys, and I'll get a chance to review with some of these titles. But yeah, this is more than enough for me, guys. I don't know about you, but these frame rates are fantastic. Okay, guys, and that's Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider on 1080p with the GTX 780 and SLI. Thank you.